Yes, good morning. I am Nataraj BT, Assistant Professor of Microbiology, Government Science College, Chitradurga. Now I am going to discuss with you industrial microbiology, downstream processing, and concentrating on the solid liquid separation. The first step in product recovery is the separation of whole cells and other insoluble ingredients from the culture broth. If the desired product is an intracellular metabolite, it must be released from the cells before subjecting to solid liquid separation. Some authors use the term harvesting of microbial cells is used for separation of the cells from the culture medium. Several methods are in use for solid liquid separation. These includes flotation, flocculation, filtration and centrifugation. First one is the flotation. When gas is introduced into the liquid broth, it forms bubbles. The cells and other solid particles get adsorbed on gas bubbles. These bubbles rise to form the foam layer which can be collected and removed. The presence of certain substances referred to as collector substances facilitates the stable foam formation. Example, long chain fatty acids and amines. Next one is the flocculation. In flocculation, the cells form large aggregates to settle down for easy removal. The process of flocculation depends on the nature of the cells and ionic constituents of the medium. Addition of flocculating agents is often necessary to achieve appropriate flocculation. Next one is the filtration. Filtration is most commonly used for separating the biomass and culture filtrate. The efficiency of filtration depends on the size of the organism, presence of other organisms, viscosity of the medium and temperature. So we have the four types of filters: depth filters, absolute filters, rotary drum vacuum filters and membrane filters. First one is the depth filters. They are composed of a filamentous matrix such as of glass wool, asbestos or filter paper. The particles are trapped within the matrix and fluid passes out. Filamentous fungi can be removed by using depth filters. Next one is the absolute filters. These filters are with specific pore sizes that are smaller than the particles to be removed. Bacteria from culture medium can be removed absolute filter. Next one is the rotary drum vacuum filters. These filters are frequently used for separation of broth containing 10 to 40% solids and particles in the size of 0.5 to 10 micrometer. Rotary drum vacuum filters have been successfully used for filtration of yeast cells and filamentous fungi. The equipment is simple with low power consumption and is easy to operate. The filtration unit consists of a rotating drum partially immersed in a tank of broth. As the drum rotates, it picks up biomass which gets deposited as a cake on the drum surface. This filter cake can be easily removed. So this diagram shows the rotary drum vacuum filter. Next one is the membrane filters. In this type of filtration, membranes with specific pore sizes can be used. However, clogging of filters is a major limitation. So there are two types of membrane filtrations: static filtration and cross flow filtration. Static filtration is nothing but the vertical filtration that we regularly use in our daily life or in our daily laboratory use. So in cross flow filtration, the culture broth is pumped in a crosswise fashion across the membrane. So this reduces the clogging process and hence better than the static filtration. So this slide shows the first figure is the static flow filter and the second one is the cross flow filtration. So we have there are three major types of filtration process: based on the particle sizes and the characters. So first one is the microfiltration, ultrafiltration and the reverse osmosis. So in the tabular column we can see the differences and the characteristic features of these three types of filtration process. Next, fourth one is the centrifugation. Centrifugation is commonly used for separating the solid particles from the liquid phases. Centrifugation can be conveniently carried out in the laboratory scale, but there are certain limitations for large scale industrial centrifugation. In recent years, continuous flow industrial centrifuges have been developed. There is a continuous feeding of the slurry and collection of the clarified fluid, while the solids deposited can be removed intermittently. So this slide shows the different types of centrifuges which are commonly used in downstream processing. So as I told earlier, centrifuges are of four types: tubular bowl centrifuge, disc centrifuge, multi-chamber centrifuge, scroll centrifuge or decanter. So first one is the tubular bowl centrifuge. This is a simple and a small centrifuge commonly used in pilot plants. Tubular bowl centrifuge can be operated at a high centrifugal speed and can be run in both batch and continuous mode. The solids are removed manually. So in disc centrifuge, disc centrifuge consists of several discs that separate the bowl into setting zones. The feed slurry is fed through a central tube. The clarified fluid moves upwards while the solids settles at the lower surface. Multi-chamber centrifuge. This is basically a modification of tubular bowl type centrifuge. It consists of several chambers connected in such a way that the feed flows in a zigzag fashion. There is variation in the centrifugal force in different chambers. The force is much higher in the peripheral chambers. As a result, smallest particles settles down in the outermost chamber. Next one is the scroll centrifuge or decanter. It is composed of a rotating horizontal bowl tapered at the end. The decanter is generally used to concentrate fluids with high solid concentration. The solids are deposited on the wall of the bowl, which can be scraped and removed from the narrow end. Thank you.